Despite the recent denial of all rumors and considered by many to be one of the most unlikely moves of the offseason, Cloud9 has officially announced that LS has joined their roster as head coach for their 2022 season. This is definitely one of the most interesting and gravitating moves that the LCS has done in a long time, and there's a fair bit to break down with this move. We'll be breaking down implications of the move, potential risks this brings to related parties, and most importantly, how this may or may not be one of the most impactful moves of the entire offseason. So taking a step back from the primary acquisition of LS during the offseason, Cloud9's new 2022 roster looks like it was incredibly inspired from the creator as well. With Fudge role swapping to mid lane and the roster dynamic switching to be full of younger Korean hotshot players, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to think that LS had contributed significantly to the team's roster building during the offseason. I actually think it's quite a promising roster, all things considered, and looking for a high upside talent like this is definitely a way to go, considering the goals of C9 internationally as well. However, this is definitely something only someone like LS could have the network and potentially mindset for, as it doesn't come up as much surprise that he ended up coaching this team. One thing that makes this an especially surprising move to me is because of LS's current status within the league community. It doesn't really take long to recognize that LS is probably one of the hottest streamers within the league space right now, for his combination of generally well-regarded analysis as well as decent entertainment value along the way. He's also known to work incredibly hard and for long hours on his content, to the point where I can probably say he's shaved off years of his life in order to reach this level of success. Although I really do commend this a lot, it's quite the career shift to not only move away from this sort of content creation, but also move away from your own country. LS has spent basically his entire league career in Korea and has built his brand there, but has confirmed that he'll be moving to the United States in order to coach the Cloud9 team in person. One of his concerns has been the fact that he's been working towards Korean residency as well, and although normally moving away from Korea would naturally hinder that progress, Cloud9 have agreed to invest resources into basically purchasing that for him, which clears that concern. I do still think that LS will have to give up a huge portion of his content that he's been doing for his own brand in the past, and will have much less time to keep contributing on that level to the space publicly. He'll naturally have opportunities to create and work on that as he sees fit, but I think he'll have to respect the heavy demands of these head coach positions, and it'll make his schedule pretty hectic. This leads into my next potential issue with this move, that there's a lot of unproven variables here, and with major changes to many of the pieces in this roster, there's an incredible amount of risk and variance with this new Cloud9 team overall. As much as I'd like to easily say this team will pop off and do well instantly, there's a lot of things to consider here, and it will take some miracle work from this Cloud9 squad in order to bear its fruit. Put it this way. You have a head coach that is pivoting from doing content for several years, a mid laner that's still learning the role in many aspects, and 3 Korean players that are playing in a brand new region, taking into account the major cultural changes and language barriers that these players face. Although we've seen teams succeed with some of these factors before, I think what differentiates this one is that almost every component of the team is going to be coming in with some sort of major shift, which just highlights the amount of work that needs to be done with this roster. LS has, however, assured that these issues can be overcome, as each member has their own skills and resources that can mitigate the effects of these difficulties. I am personally a really big fan still, and I enjoy the risk-taking that's being done here, but I'm also concerned as to how this roster will play out. But I think risk-taking is what's needed in the space right now, especially in North America. LS has said this roster and this current state of professional League of Legends is arguably one of the most opportune times for him to contribute to a competitive team right now, with the Eastern teams looking weaker than normal and the strong Western infrastructure being able to create teams like this. North America has literally never won the world's title, so we're clearly at a point where something needs to change. So what if there's a chance your team crashes and burns? I actually think that's quite admirable to go for, and you're not going to go far if we keep doing the same thing that North America has been doing for the last decade. I think this is a great move by Cloud9, and that this roster truly has the potential to be one of the greatest that we've seen in NA, and this all starts with this LS move. As always, I hope this video was insightful to you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay fresh.